That's right, the holidays are over, time to remove all of the Christmas decorations, and it might be a little bit too much to call it summer, given the fact that it's still freezing outside, but we're looking on to new things and into the first, well, hello, and welcome to another episode of the Let's Play series. And you know what they say about New Year's? New year, new me, and in this case, new project. And I'm actually not going to tell you exactly what it's going to be, but I'm going to be leaving clues in the community post and actually in the episodes. So we're going to spend the first couple episodes of the year actually getting the resources that we are going to need for that project. And for that, we're actually going to go into a new place. And that is actually going to be all the way up there. We're going to go onto the roof of the Nether to actually get a piglin, well, zombie pigman farm and some piglin bartering systems ready to get, well, gravel, quartz, and everything that it is to be got from them. So to do that first, we're going to start by making a staircase all the way up there. And I think this is going to be the perfect place. So let's get some stairs and go all the way up. Right, and after finishing the stairs that, well, actually I'm never going to use, because we're going to either rocket up or use the nether portal that we will make on the roof of the nether, we made ourselves some room, and we need to find a block. Yeah, I had it somewhere. We need to find one of these, that it is actually the 127th block. I think it's, yeah, that one over there. That is going to be the block that we're going to go through to get to the roof of the nether. So we are going to get some ladders, go all the way up, and now be super paranoid about dying, because we're going to use ender pearls to glitch out to the other side. Right, so now that we have them, and we point over there, and bloop. Alright, we made it. We are actually, well, halfway there, but we made it to the roof of the Nether. And I need to remember, alright. Yeah, I'm actually going to write down the block, because eventually we might actually want to break it. So, 76. Right, so now that we have it written down, we can actually make the trip for good. And up we go. And here we are on the roof of the Nether. So what I would like to do is to get a Nether portal that takes us to the new base. That is going to be the one. Right, and knowing where our tower is, if we divide everything by 8 and we calculated all of it correctly, if we have our Nether portal right here, and another torch for symmetry, this portal over here should take us somewhere. And somewhere it took us. It is almost exactly where it has to be. We can move this and put it over here, make it a little bit bigger, make it a little bit fancier, but this is exactly what we wanted, to have the Nether portal on top of our tower, and that way we can link up the new base with the roof of the Nether, where we're going to have the new farms. So now we can, well, yeah, we're going to fix this because this looks pretty awful, but we're going, yeah, we will fix this and we will start getting the resources that we need for our zombie pigman farm. So you're building yourself an iron farm based on zombified pigmen. Step number 1, go to Shulkercraft and check the tutorial because that's pretty much what I'm following. And step number 2, get to another wastes biome to make sure that only these guys spawn. I actually don't know where that Enderman came from because they cannot teleport in here, but well, you do you, pal. There's not much to find in here. So step number, I actually lost count, I think it's 2 or 3. Just get yourself a scaffolding pillar all the way to build limit. That is going to be this 256. And your farm can be as big as, well, yeah, it can get from layer 128 all the way to this one over here, because that's going to be the maximum spawn range. Then once you have that, you're going to need a ton of magma blocks that you're going to be putting in sort of donuts, and you're going to need something that we picked up some time ago that looks like diamond. Well, it actually has the same shape as a diamond, but that is going to be turtle eggs, because that's going to be how we bring in the pigmen. So we're going to get going with this. I think that I do have, well, I have some of the I have some of the materials that we are going to need. We're going to need a little bit more. Actually, I forgot the dirt for the turtle eggs. But yeah, we're going to crack on with this, and we'll talk about it once we're done. So let's jump into another time lapse. and we finally have our zombie pigman farm ready. You can see how they spawn, find the turtle egg, and go fall to their death. And at the very bottom, if we fly away from here, at the very bottom we do have, ignore the boats for now, we do have our double collection system. We have double filters to get rid of all of the rotten flesh that we need, and this is working beautifully. We're getting tons of golden nuggets, and actually we need to stay down here for a little bit just to make sure that we are able to collect all of them. And in the meantime, we have been gathering bobbies. So these guys over here, we have 18 of those that we got from that platform over there that is in a crimson forest. That explains why I was getting zombie pigmen in the meantime. But now that we have our gold farm, I don't know exactly how many layers, but we can count them from the time lapse. But yeah, now that we do have our gold farm ready, we are going to just wing the trading system, because we're going to get each one of these in their individual pods, and we are going to give them gold to receive all sorts of goodies. So we're going to jump into another time lapse, and yeah, this might be a little bit of a weirder one because I'm basically going to wing the whole build and talk a little bit about how it works at the very end. So let's jump into it. So we are done with the gold and bartering system, so let's start a session of farming theory. So let's give a look at how the whole thing works, starting with the gold farm. We started with this AFK platform that we have over here, right on the build limit, on layer 255. That will mean that mobs are only going to spawn on the roof of the Nether, and they are going to spawn between 24 and 128 blocks, so from this magma block layer to the very bottom. So that's going to be where we need our platforms to be. And in the Nether wastes biome, the only things that are going to be able to spawn on magma blocks are going to be the ones that don't take damage from it. So zombie pigmen and magma cubes. That is actually one of the few things that we are not able to control. So zombie pigmen are going to try to jump on the turtle eggs that we have in the middle, and they end up jumping to their death. Wasn't able to land. So that jumping to their death meant that we needed the collection system to be at least 23 blocks below the last platform. I think that we have 24 instead of 23, but, just to make sure. On the other hand, from this system, you get a ton of stuff. A ton of rotten flesh that you see getting dispensed over there. And we also have all of the golden nuggets. We actually decided to go for this collection system just to make sure that the pigmen, well, we didn't have to hit the pigmen. That would make them angry, and if something went wrong, we would just die. So the other thing is we have a sort of weird pattern with the hoppers over there, because as we said, we get a ton of stuff. So we decided to split the system in two sides and have two separate filters for all of the rotten flesh that we would get, and all of the gold nuggets get in here. And after some AFK, we do have a ton of gold to spare, so this is working wonderfully. And if we turn around and look at the bartering system, we can explain each one of the bits that the system is made of. So the pigmen, the piglins, as we said, we got them from a platform in the Crimson Forest, and piglins are going to trade items, all of those types of items, they're going to trade once every 7 seconds. So to make sure that we get as much as we can without clogging the system, we have that etho hopper clock set to a time to deliver the gold to our pigmen once every 7 seconds ish. So the system is going to trigger these pistons over here that set these observers that turn on these droppers that have the gold. On the other hand, actually, let's poke a hole over here. The other important thing is to leave the gold somewhere over there in that corner, so the piglin is able to collect, the bobby is able to collect the gold. And when he drops his items, it's pretty unlikely. It happens every once in a while, I'm not going to lie, but yeah, most of the items are going to, rather than get over there, they're going to end up in this hopper line that we have at the very bottom. We do have different hopper lines for each one of the sides of the farm, and all of these get sent through these dropper elevators to actually one of the bits that I had to change. They're actually sent to that chest, because the big problem that we have with this is that we produce way too many items. It's kind of a weird problem to have, but yeah, we got it. So the items, if the system gets clogged, they will end up on that chest over there. We have another one on the other side, and then eventually the hoppers are going to deliver everything that we can get from our bartering system. In here we do have, some things that we are definitely going to use. Actually, I needed an iron farm. I know that this is not the most efficient way, but this is going to solve some problems that we had. So we have some materials that we are definitely going to use, some others that I am not entirely sure, especially this over here. And we do have a ton of garbage that we definitely don't need. Iron boots with soul speed. Some of these bugs, the soul speed 3 and the potions of fire resistance, they are going to come in handy, but we are not going to be using them that much. And if the system goes overboard, we have another cactus to get rid of all of the leftover materials. The other thing that we did was a system to make sure that this hopper minecart that is actually delivering all of the gold to our pigmen actually gets gives them the gold that they need. And to do that, we use this simple trick with a couple comparators. One comparator in subtract mode that has to be a detector rail to be able to pick up how many items the hopper minecart is carrying. And this over here, this comparator connected to this hopper that has, we put 8 items, which means that it's usually going to have more than, it's usually having, I think it's around 20 something items, which is perfect because we have 18 pigmen, piglins in total. So another bit of the system that we can use, we put in here all of the gold gets distributed to all of our piglins, and the system is able to run. And with that, we actually have a way of getting tons of gold. Oh, that's too close. Tons of gold and turning that gold into a ton of goodies. That, well, yeah, as we said, some of them we'll use, some of them not. But let me know, well, let me know in the comments if you want another tutorial with all of these systems. Just make sure that you give a look at Shulkercraft's tutorial for the gold farm. Keep an eye out for the subtle clues for the next big project, because you have one in this episode. And with that, that is going to be all the time that we have for today. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya!